Hi, I'm down here at an education research conference in Canberra, which is interesting news. But the most interesting news is that the new Year 12 text lists for Queensland have just been released, which, if you've been watching this story, are the first set of prescribed text lists that this state has seen for Year 12 curriculum in English. And you know, as much as I am ready to sit down and pore over that list and critique it, what I wanted to kind of talk about was just the amazing excitement that I felt opening up those lists. Looking at them, I just really want to go and teach English again. I was looking down and just my friend who I'm bunking with down here at the conference was asleep, but still I was in the lounge room reading them overnight when it came out, just crying out, yes, wow, great. There's so many things on there that either I've already got resources for, or I've always wanted to read or watch, or I'm so excited to start talking to other English teachers in Queensland about, and that above all else was what was just running through my mind while I was looking through the lists. So I wanted to make sure I captured that moment, because for me I wear a lot of different hats in the English curriculum scene up here. For starters, I'm on that English Teachers Association Management Committee, which means that you know, I'd like to show solidarity with people from our committee who had a hand in making that list, and I can see, well, I can just imagine, I feel like I can see behind it all of the reading, the conversations, the debate that would have sat behind choosing the first list ever. So I'm kind of wearing that hat and thinking about all of the wonderful things we can start making for members. On the other hand, I've got my English teacher self who's busting at the seams to teach the thing, and on the other hand, of course, I'm a scholar in the field. So at the same time as I'm reading through the list thinking I really want to teach it, I'm also starting to think, here are all the things that I would like to analyze when I get home and have all of my computer facilities available to me. One point, of course, I think that if you've looked at the list already will have jumped out at you, is that it's quite a white and conservative list for the external assessment section, and that's something that I'll be talking a little bit more about, if not in later vlogs, and definitely in my publications. If you haven't seen the list yet, then just to give you a bit of a flavour, the external assessment lists for English and EALD features the like of Macbeth and Hamlet and 1984. As you go down the list, well, as I went down the list, it occurred to me that it was a fairly conservative set of picks. Even now, though, as I start to try and think about all of the different things I'm going to have to hold in my head as I start to work with this new piece of the curriculum, I can't help but think of my previous experience in New South Wales teaching HSC English, and all of the things that are about to come into play for Queensland teachers around the external assessment, which will be an analytic essay on one of those 8 texts, and you know, little things that people are going to come to learn, like strategies of choosing less popular texts to make sure that your students' essays stand head and shoulders above the rest. Do you know that's a thing? That can be a thing. Strategies like picking popular texts to make sure you've got plenty of resources to share if you're in a poorly resourced school, or you're a new teacher that's not feeling confident with their knowledge of text. There's just so many factors that are about to come into the new game up here, and I hope that I can help people navigate that with some of my previous experience where I can. But I'm also expected to be really surprised by things not turning out the way I predict. So I guess I'm also making this vlog as a bit of a record of this moment in time to capture that tension for myself, which was, remember that time when even though you were feeling critical, you were overwhelmingly excited and also totally prepared to be surprised by things not being the way that you think they are going to be up in this state. And there's some other funny things on there too. Well, not funny, but just unexpected or different to me. So all of the novels and the plays are prescribed. You know, you can choose Macbeth, you can choose Hamlet by William Shakespeare. But in the area of poetry, they haven't prescribed actual poems. They've said here are the poets prescribed, and I guess we can now go and choose whatever poetry we like from that poet. Same thing with short stories, you know, short stories by author, and then you've got a bit more free reign. So there's lots of things to notice about this list, lots of things to question about this list, and most of all, I just want to tell everyone how excited I am to have a point of conversation with other English teachers in the coming months and couple of years as we get up to the new Year 12 here in Queensland. So there you have it. The last thing I will say is how grateful I am about the way that this list was released. So in stark contrast to what happened earlier in the year with New South Wales and the HSC, where their list was actually given to journalists and the media before it was given to teachers, up here it was respectfully delivered to teachers on their own curriculum portal that they have to log into. So even though that document will become public knowledge, I just want to acknowledge how much better that seems to have done up here than how I saw that play out down south. So thanks to people who were behind that choice.